Alright there, you wee skunners, your bumzo indie if you think that's unofficially.
Unofficially.
The best podcast in all wee world. My name's Stumpy.
My name's Cole.
And we're up to Heido with today's guest. It's Scotland's Johnny Boy _ If you just want to spot some of the unofficially.
Unofficially.
The greatest merch in the world. Go to shop.subpar.gg and use code Poddy C on the item page for 10% off. It's better than that shite Rangers cop, and I didn't want to hear nothing more about it. Johnny, what is scoop off your head?
That is one of the most abysmal attempts at a Scottish accent I've ever heard.
Dare you?
Can you see the intro, right? Could you read it in your most over-the-top Scottish voice?
No, I can't. See, when I
not
have
do
to
one?
perform, I can't. It gets worse. I can't do
What
it.
if we gave you some, what's the drink that everyone in Scotland loves? It's
G-Fuel.
like
Iron Brew.
Buckfast. Is it Buckfast? No, the alcoholic one.
Oh, Buckfast, yeah.
It is Buckfast, yeah. If we give you
Well,
some
I mean,
of that.
you say the drink that everybody in Scottish likes. I'm like, which one?
Yeah.
True, sorry.
All of it.
Yeah, the one.
I've not seen Buckfast before, so it's like a wine.
It's like wine, yeah, like
caffeinated,
sad wine.
fortified wine.
Yeah, how
My-
does that sound?
Oh, so it's like Four Loko or Dragon Soup.
Apparently it's banned in America.
Yeah.
Good stuff, Buckfast.
Just
It's probably got that like as its tagline. We're banned in America.
Hey, we're banned in America. They can't handle it over the Atlantic. Oh, they don't get it. Johnny boy, hello mate. How are you doing?
Hello, Stumpy. Yeah, I'm doing great. How are you guys?
I'm right.
Fine, surviving in
Fine.
my home. Yeah. How's the isolation for you?
For me, you know, since I work from home anyway, it's not a huge change in that regard. It's not ideal. You know, I'd like to be able to go outside and do things and have more freedom, but I'm coping. You know, this is how it has to be right now, so I'm just getting on with it.
Are you still living with your brother?
Yeah, I still live with my brother, yeah. My editor.
Your editor, your brother, your confidant. I think the main thing for me is that, like, the freedom to like just say, yeah, I'll just go outside. Like that's just gone. Like, I don't have I live in a flat, so I don't have a garden or anything. And I went out for the first time in 2 weeks yesterday because it was.
I was
my 2
so
weeks was
excited
up.
for you.
It was weird. The world has gone weird.
Yeah, because you went into isolation before all of like the 2 meter changes actually
Yeah.
came into effect, right?
Same.
Yeah,
Same.
I had
Really?
like symptoms like 2 weeks ago of like just sort of like cough and whatever. I was like, you know what, I'll just keep myself in. Just in case, see what happens. And yeah, it's been 2 weeks now, and I went to the shops yesterday just to pick up like a couple of essential bits and bobs. And I went out with a scarf around my mouth because I wanted to like, just in case, you know, I don't want to be coughing on people because it would look weird, but I wasn't coughing anyway. And I saw about 3 people on my walk to the supermarket, and then outside of it, they've got like crosses out of like lined tape that you need to stand on 2 meters apart to queue up to go in. When one person leaves, then somebody else can then go in, and you get like, they count the amount of people to get in, like, so you're not fully like filling up the shop entirely. Everybody is doing a really good job, in all fairness, of staying 2 meters apart, which I liked. I'm a big fan that everyone's done a good job of staying apart.
Yeah, I think it's the same here. Well, I've heard like stories from all around the country that some people are behaving, some people aren't. But I've been doing the isolation thing since before. It was like
Since
the
before it was
law
cool.
to do, just because I figured that's where we're headed. So might as well just get on with it. You know, just accept that that's going to be life. So
Yeah.
that's how it has to be right now. Just got to stay inside.
Yeah.
I'm one of those really annoying people that's decided to use this time to get into shape. And I'm 2 weeks into a sort of health kick now. And the novelty's worn off. I'm ready to eat lots of chocolate and drink lots of wine. But I think my biggest worry is that like after the end of all this, there's just going to be a brand new generation of like alcoholics. The amount of like Facebook memes that I've seen, people just talking about drinking alcohol all day long.
Yeah.
It's sort of, that is genuinely a bit of a worry that I have. So if, you know, don't drink too much.
My mum went into the shop for me, very nicely of her, because I couldn't go out during this whole thing. And she rang me when she was in Morrison's, and she went, hi, do you want an alcohol or just like something to drink like while you're at home? I was like, yeah, you know what, like just sort of like a couple of beers, whatever. And she goes, okay, I've already got 2 bottles of wine and a litre of gin in the basket.
Oh, a litre.
Mum, I'm working from home. I don't need to have a litre of gin.
A
So now I've got 2 bottles of wine, a litre of gin, and 24 Coronas. Because,
Nice.
you know,
Of course it
I'm
would be.
stocking up. Yeah, exactly.
It's cheaper, isn't it?
It is cheaper.
Oh man.
we've got this champagne on one of my shelves at home. Well, here.
on.
And I think that once this is all over, that'd be a good time to bust it open. That'd
Pop
be
the
like the
cork.
celebratory champagne
Maybe though,
that we've got.
you know when like Arctic ice melts and it like releases like germs into the atmosphere.
Sure.
Maybe your champagne has got a new disease in the bottle, right? And then when you pop it, it'll release it into the world, and then it's
Oh,
Corona
no.
2.0,
Pandemic 2, the sequel, Electric Boogaloo.
a champandemic.
Hey,
That's
Thank
pretty
you very
good.
much.
Not gonna lie.
Cheers, guys.
That's pretty good.
That means a lot for you to say that, Johnny. Thank you. Seems like we're all doing pretty well, and we've had a lot of Rocket League to tide us over. I think a couple of weeks ago, there were 13 straight days of Rocket League tournaments going on. It was with the double header of the RLCS with the European Invitational as well. And Johnny boy, you headed the European Invitational. And when I mentioned this before, you made sure that we were going to talk about Civic. So do you just want to let people know, tell all the losers who haven't watched TEI what it's about and what Civic has done for it as well?
Well, in Civic, he's been supporting a lot of Rocket League streamers, a lot of Rocket League content creators, a lot of Rocket League players for a while now, just on Twitch and just in general. But he, I first heard about him because I was running a charity event last year with the goal to raise $10,000 or to crowdfund $10,000 for Testicular Cancer Society, and the goal was just over halfway done, and then Civic came along and finished it himself for $4,200. So immediately I'm thinking, okay, that is an incredible gesture of kindness. Who is this guy? I need to find out more about him. And then find out, okay, he's from the Middle East. He's a manager, he's started the org Sandrock Gaming just to support the Middle East players. So I was like, that's pretty cool. And then he came to me with this idea to run this tournament with Sandrock and all the best teams in Europe. And he just said, okay, I'll try and handle all of the legal stuff, like getting Psyonix to approve it, and we make sure that all the prize money's there, and you just do the logistical end. So I said, well, of course, I will absolutely do that, because that's really cool. It sounds like a really cool concept, and it was his idea from the very beginning.
Well, that is my main question, really, because it's something that we talked about at great length in the Lawler podcast, which is probably our most viewed one, about how Psyonix are famously difficult to deal with. If you're a third-party TO, normally they don't want you. And I'm sure you've heard stories, something I've heard stories from various different sources of people saying, oh yeah, we had $100,000 ready to put into a prize pool and it couldn't happen because X, Y, Z. And yet, somehow, out of nothing as far as the outside world could see, suddenly there's this TEI thing, which is a third-party event for $20,000, 4 times more than the $5,000 limit that we've all heard.
Yeah.
How on earth did you guys manage to convince Psyonix that this was a good idea for them? What was different when you came to them than anyone else?
Well, see, like I said, I didn't really have much of a hand in that. That was in Civic. He just decided to go to Psyonix with this proposal. I drew up the format and I decided on the dates and the streaming time. I said that I would stream it all myself. I'm not going to put it onto anyone else's streams to just in case that was something that they would be concerned about, like the actual broadcast destination. But beside just explaining what kind of, or drawing up a plan for how the whole tournament's going to be executed, they just must have just liked the idea, or one thing that maybe is in the favor of it is that there was no branded sponsor. That can maybe be a more difficult thing or a slower thing to put through.
I guess
the
instead it's
Psyonix
just
legal
in
team.
Civic just being there, provided the money. You don't need to sort of go through any funding for it.
Yeah, we didn't ask Psyonix for any money, so I guess that's definitely going to help with getting things approved. But I reckon if you come to a company like Psyonix, this is a bit speculative because I don't really do much of this process myself. But yeah, if you come to them and you say, oh, we've got this, this company want to sponsor a Rocket League event, they've got this, they're going to put this much money into it, then Psyonix, they don't just have to look at your tournament and decide if it's viable, they have to also look at the sponsor, decide is this something that we want to have associated with our game, are they people that we want to have a working relationship with. So yeah, that was never part of the equation for the European Invitational, because Civic put up all of the prize pool himself, and there was no branding associated with it. Yes, SRG were in the tournament, but nothing else. It wasn't the SRG Invitational. It was the European Invitational.
I know that when I've spoken to some of the guys from Science before, they've said that, especially with endorsements of stuff, they need to make sure the things they endorse are for everybody. Because the game is, they try and run that sort of like line of thinking through everything in their brand. And it makes a lot of sense. But I imagine that cuts off so many avenues for them to be able to take on certain sponsors as well. Because you need to make sure that it's the lowest level of, you cannot offend anybody with anything you've ever done. It needs to be so above board across the board. And Johnny, you were saying as well that you came up with the format and the sort of the tournament organizer side of things. And you made the great decision, IMO, of making the finals a best of 9. With, instead of it being a bracket reset, which we've seen before in the RLCS, you then made it so that the team that didn't lose any series, i.e. Sandrock Gaming, they got a 1-game advantage. What led you to go towards the best of 9 format as opposed to sticking with the tried and tested best of 7?
Well, there was a few reasons. Number one reason was that for, I'm streaming this tournament on Twitch, but I've also got to think about how it's going to look on YouTube after, because a lot of people won't watch it live; they'll watch it on YouTube after the fact. And if you do a bracket reset for something like this, then the video, like let's say in a bracket reset, the team who come from the winner bracket, SRG, just win 4-0. You could have a potential 14 games. Instead, you've got 4. So the video has to be, to not spoil the length of the series, 14 games long. But the last 10 of those games will be replays of the first one. So it would just be on repeat. And that type of video, number one, it doesn't do very well in the YouTube algorithm. In fact, I'm probably shooting myself in the foot by hiding the length of a series by adding, spoiler shields, because there's less watch time percentage on all these videos.
And I suppose also they can scan it and see that you are just repeating content as well. Which I imagine
well,
they don't
this would have been an extreme version of it. I'm okay with putting spoiler shields on the videos and trying to, help people not know what the result is just by the length of the video. But that would be way too extreme in my opinion, and people would just be disappointed. They think, oh, it's just like a quick series. And there have been, yes, there have been great series with double elimination, best of 7 in the past. But there's also been really bad ones. You can't really there's no perfect outcome. There's no guarantee that the grand final is going to be a good one. The reasons were, one, I'm thinking of the viewer perspective and how to make sure that they get to see a good final. Matches that actually matter. Number 2, there's competitively there actually are very few teams that have come back from losing the first best of 7 and then gone on to win the thing in Rocket League. I think all 4 times that a team has come from the lower bracket to the grand final and won the first series in Rocket League in RLCS, they have gone on to win the whole thing. Flipside Season 2, Northern Gaming Season 3, Dignitas Season 5, Cloud9 Season 6, they all won 2 series in a row. Nobody's ever come back from losing the first one. So this whole idea that Sandrock maybe could have bounced back if they had an extra series is kind of there's no evidence that this would have happened. And actually they had an easier job on paper, because they only had to win 3 games. No, they only had to win 4 games.
4 games,
out of 8, instead of having to win. I think you'd have to win at least 4 games out of 4. Out of 7 rather. One of these times, which is actually harder than winning 4 out of 8.
What did Sandrock say then? What do the players say? I presume you've spoken to either them or obviously in Civic after it's happened. And I've seen these Sandrock guys talking on Twitter and sort of having some jokes with Godsmiller and stuff, which is great to see. It hasn't affected their mentality too much from what I've seen. They were just proud to be part of this event. They were relieved to finally get the chance in front of an actual audience to show that they are just as good as Singularities and also probably your Dignitas as well, all the way up to the very top.
It was my first time seeing them, bear in mind. I've heard of Ocalib and Ahmed and Senzo, but I've never seen them play. I've seen every now and then a Johnny Boy YouTube videos recommended where it's like Ocalib versus somebody else, and I'm like, fuck it, I'll give it a watch. And he's like, fair play, he's sick. But I've never actually seen them in that in that situation. And Cole, you said that they were proud just to be part of it.
Yeah.
I think they were more than just part of it. They beat Singularity twice. They beat Vitality. They beat We Dem Girls. They beat RCD Espanol, and they beat Dignitas on their way to the unbeaten grand finals. Like, they showed the fuck up.
And as well as doing that, they also got themselves so many fans as well, because they weren't sort of grinding out victories. I don't think there was a single I don't think there was a single game from the Sandrock series that I watched where they ground it out. It was always just pummeling into their opponents, outpacing them. The third man, they don't even have a third man. The third man on the opposing team's backboard, because why the hell not? Do you know what I mean? It's sort of this new generation of the RLRS style of Rocket League, which is just ultra aggressive compared to the RLCS.
Yeah.
And I think how that shaped the event was that finally, at the third attempt individually and the fifth attempt from all RLCS teams, Singularity learnt how to deal with it. And suddenly SRG were just blunted. And that's the sort of Rocket League I've always wanted to see, where you can see a shape and you can see the thought that's gone into it. And it's not just whoever rotates better on the day or whoever makes that one miss in sort of 4 minutes into overtime. There actually have been tactics that have been applied. Could you see more of that in this than you can in your average RLCS series, using your sort of analyst's eye?
There's definitely a lot of interesting things to see and to take note of when SRG are playing. I do agree. I think they're going to be, looking back overall, quite happy with how they've done, but ultimately disappointed in the grand final that they got beaten 5 games in a row.
Which no one saw coming.
Yeah, I didn't see that coming except Stumpy. Apparently.
No one saw... what?
Unbelievable prediction by Stumpy.
We did a pre-stream for the European Invitational, and we do predictions, and I predicted Singularity win at 5-1. I was unjustly confident that it would happen. There's no reason why I should have been.
I changed your name on Discord after that to Predicty Godlin, which was a name that you kept until, what was it? I know what it was. The next bloody week, when Mouse came up against Reciprocity, you berated our Twitch chat and you said, "You guys are idiots. Why are you voting M instead of R? There is no world in which Reciprocity lose this series." So now I've changed your name to Predicty Turdlin instead.
Yeah,
you've lost all of the credit that you got.
That was also in the week where I predicted that Cloud9 would get perfect sweeps up until the final of North America, and then they'd get perfect swept by G2. That was my prediction, and unfortunately, that didn't happen.
The playoffs were just this. There was just so many results in there, in both they were just sweeps, and nobody really knows why. But you know, it happens. Like getting swept in a final or getting destroyed in a final. It's happened to like pretty much every team in Rocket League history. They've all like had a perfect season and then just been destroyed in the last game. It happens. And,
we always see it. We see it sometimes in RCS lands as well. I remember the one that really sticks out in my mind is the Method Gale Force. I think they were Gale Force at the time. When it was the winners semis and Gale Force beat Method, sent them to lowers. They then beat Cloud9, I think it was, and then they went to the finals and got fucked 4-0.
Yeah, they got 4-0.
But the real grand finals was that semi of Method versus Gale Force. Like it just happens. Then you get fatigue because they had to play obviously the 3 series in a row Method as well. So that was a bit of a nightmare.
Yeah, you never know who's gonna like just come out better on the day. Some people complain about that, but I think it's fine. You know, maybe one regret I had with the European Invitational format is that there was a chance for teams to play each other 3 times, which might be a bit much in a tournament format, because you can have what happened here where SRG won twice, they lost once, and they're out
against SRG.
Yeah, they played them 3 times.
Played them 3 times. SRG won twice and they lost once. Like maybe single elimination would be better in the playoff stage to prevent that from happening. I'm going to look into that and, you know, see like what kind of tournament that would look like. But I think overall it's okay. Like, you know, people have to understand there's always going to be a team that shows up on the last day or in the grand final, and a team that doesn't. Or, you know, sometimes you get a great final where 2 teams show up, but most of the time it's one team doing really well and the other team not doing so well, and that's okay. That's how tournaments work.
Yeah,
nobody looks at the World Cup and says, "Oh yeah, but you know, that team lost in the group stage. They didn't deserve to win the final. They only won 2-1 in the group stage. The other team, they actually haven't lost all tournaments, so I think they deserve to win. They should at least have a bracket reset or something." No.
England need a second chance against Croatia. We only lost once against them in extra time. It's bullshit.
The bastard.
Yes, nobody says this because like it's not.
We do
something
say this,
that's
Johnny,
been
in
done.
England. We do say that.
Yeah.
You do say.
Yeah, we do. We do.
Yeah.
So, John, I want to ask you as well that what do you hope the European Invitational has done for the future of third-party tournament organised? We said how awkward it's been previously. Do you think this might be a bit of a cornerstone?
And that's in NA as well as EU as well, because I mean TEI is obviously EU focused. NA, this is something that some people I didn't appreciate. I'd say a couple of months ago. In our mind, NA was flourishing, and every day they'd have $5,000 tournaments, and they were having a great time. And EU was destitute. But actually, the problem is that both
Across
main regions,
the board,
and then obviously OCE and SAM as well, and Asia, it's just as bad everywhere.
Yeah. Well, it really depends. I mean, I hope it does. I would love to see more tournaments. The question is, would the community get behind a tournament like this if it didn't have the same amount of money on the line? And would the RLCS teams in particular, be interested in playing if there's not as much money on the line? Because there's a lot of, there's a lot of discussion from pro players. There's a lot of discussion from the communities, NA, EU, just Rocket League in general, about having more competition, about having more tournaments happen. But for that to happen, for these tournaments to occur, teams need to play in them. Luckily for us in the European Invitational, all the RLCS teams did want to play, and all the rival series teams did want to give a go at qualifying. So there was no question of, okay, well that team didn't, like Vitality didn't play or something.
I don't know why a team wouldn't play. Like, you can sort of say that maybe it ends up having fatigue on the weekend. You've got you're obviously doing the midweek series. It could make it worse, your performance. But it's basically just sort of funded scrims almost. Like it's not got impact on the main tournament. It's not got any long-lasting effects. It's just paid scrims, and I'm happy, really happy that all the RCS teams were happy to get on board with it. Do you think that North America then would require more money for them to want to take part, or do you think it's just sort of speculation that they might not want to?
I really don't know. I really don't know. I've not had that conversation with any of the American teams to find out, how desperate are they, or how much do they want. Desperate's maybe a bad word, but how much do they want to play other competitive events like the European Invitational was. I think the format obviously does matter, and the tournament organizer is going to make a difference if it's somebody that nobody's ever heard of, and they say they're promising this much prize money. Like, people will be skeptical. Is this legit? But there are a lot of orgs, and there's a lot of tournament organizers that could make this kind of thing happen. But yeah, you can never guarantee that Soundix would approve something more than 5K again. Like, maybe they will, maybe they won't.
It got very good reception.
Yeah, it got an amazing reception. But I think people were just so relieved to see some form of support from third parties. And to be fair to Psyonix, they've taken that and they've ran with it. With the, as Leaf calls it, the Summer Series.
Summer
Series,
announced
at the top of the most recent RLCS. But I know, he had one job, Leaf. Damn it, man.
Fucking job, Leaf.
I know, but yeah. So let's talk about
the
Spring Series, because what an amazing thing that is.
Yeah.
This is the top 4 NA teams from the RLCS, and the top 4 EU teams will be joined by open qualifiers, and that's $125,000 for EU and $125,000 for NA, and $50K each from South America and OCE. And that, as far as I'm aware, is pretty much all we know right now. We know that it's going to be performed on the mainstream, or broadcast on the mainstream. But unless I've missed something, we haven't heard about talent. We haven't heard, well, that's the main question that I've got, really. Who's going to be running these broadcasts? But what a great thing this is.
We know that it's in lieu of the Olympics, basically, because it's been confirmed now the Olympics will be delayed until, I think it's June 2021. There's been no word, as far as I know, on the Intel World Open being moved. However, it is. Like, it just will. If the Olympics is moved, the Intel World Open is an event that is tied to the Olympics. They can't do it without it. Yeah. So it seems to be an event that's in lieu of it. And I know there's been, again, incredible reception to it. And Psyonix, we praised them last week when this didn't exist, and we're going to praise them again for having online tournaments with a huge prize pool, quite frankly. Like, to cover regions that are previously relatively underfunded. The only annoying thing is, Middle East still cannot take part. It's got the same regions as the RLCS, so Middle East can't take place on EU servers. But regardless, I think we're all very happy about this, right?
Yeah, I think these are great tournaments. I'm really excited to see OCE and South America on the main Rocket League channel. I don't really know, too much behind the scenes about these, about the Spring Series and about the particular of each tournament, but I'm curious to see the SAM broadcast in particular, because they do a Spanish broadcast mainly. I wonder, will they be doing Spanish on the Rocket League channel, or will they be doing like an English version?
What's the Spanish for awards?
For awards?
Yeah, I don't know.
Rewards.
I just know gracias. That's pretty much it. But
exclamation mark gracias.
I'm not going to be a very good addition to the Spanish broadcasting team.
They just cut to you, go gracias. Oh yeah, gracias.
Yeah, I don't know. What this is going to look like. So there's no way I can give you guys the leaks, unfortunately. But I'm excited for it.
It's also, from our perspective, a great chance for talent to come through for
it is, yeah.
OCE and South America. It's a really good chance for those guys to be on the main channel. And although the timing, speaking from a selfish point of view, the timing for OCE is not great. I believe it starts at 1 a.m, UK time. So I won't be able to watch that as it's live. However, the fact that there will be people in America that will be able to watch it, there will obviously be a huge push in OCE. It's going to be really big for those regions. Hopefully then it draws more attention to the standard league play that they have in OCE and South America as well.
Yeah, I think more people are likely to watch it just for the fact it's on the same channel. That's something I've been hoping for a long time, so it's a really cool move to see happen. But like I said, the Middle East not being involved, that is definitely disappointing, mainly because of SRG. They're showing that region can compete, even with the ping disadvantage, and I know that they'd happily compete with a ping disadvantage every day of the week.
Are there other teams in Middle East that are around that top level as well?
I think there's some others that are, somewhat competitive, but not anywhere near SRG level.
Okay.
And now, especially with SRG having competitive experience, there's the bigger gap, I'd say. But, usually when you have more opportunities like this, like if Middle East were included in the European Spring Series, then I'm sure that would motivate a lot of people to start playing more and start grinding more as a team. So I wouldn't be surprised to see more teams and more players pop up and get inspired by SRG's recent success. I would love to see that happen. I think that this is a perfect opportunity to include regions like that, and even maybe having I don't know what the ping is for all of the Asian teams to like the Oceanic server, for example, but maybe that's something that they could look into as well.
True, yeah.
Or Japan to US West, is that possible? I don't really know. Like this is something that Psyonix and something that all these regions would have to come up with. But what do you guys think about having all of them be wide open instead of calling it like an EU Spring Series? It's just the EU server Spring Series. Anyone can play it. NRG, welcome aboard.
Wow.
G2, want to sign up? Go for it. It's going to be on the EU server.
And meanwhile, the Europeans try and qualify on the NA servers, etc. So everyone's able to do all of them.
Like it'd be funny to see G2 just be like, do we think we could do better if we entered the Oceanic one?
Hey, if they qualify for all of them, then fair play to them.
Let's see what happens.
I'd love to see it.
Is that what you'd like to see most from the Spring Series then? So that's Johnny Boy.
G2 playing OCE.
Yeah, smashing CJ in the face.
I wouldn't mind it. That'd
be fun.
I want to see new bloody adverts. I am sick of the goddamn snake people.
Snake people are freaking me out.
Oh, that one's so boring. Yeah, we used to have Old Spice, I think it was, which was really good.
And Brisk.
I know. I missed Gibbs and James Bot.
That was Gibbs' finest role.
Being like, he was excellent in it, and then it never happened again. Such a shame.
Yeah, this is Gibbs' finest role of all time.
He was born to drink Brisk.
Honestly, they were. The fact that we're still talking about a drink that we cannot get over here,
never even
years
seen it
later.
Yeah.
And like when we were in America, we bought a bottle of Brisk to see what it was like.
Wasn't that great, was it?
Definitely just it's sugar syrup on like.
Never meet your heroes.
Yeah, exactly. If Gibbs was on the bottle, I would have downed it.
Like Ninja with Pepsi or whatever.
Yeah, like I mean, the fact that like we're talking about it means that there's obviously a market for something like that to happen again. I think it'd be amazing. I'd like to see Shogun maybe like rep some footballs and like have his face on them.
His face, yeah, like across the entire football.
Yes, yeah, really fucking round face. So I think that'd be good. Johnny could do Like what it's like nose strips, like to get rid of like blackheads. But you'd need like an entire foot-long bandage to cover that snout.
I was thinking the things that you put up your nostril and sort of sniff it to clear your airwaves. It could be cocaine. Could be, why not?
Johnny is the face
Johnny
of
Boy's
cocaine.
Just you have a little white nose. having a little
official broadcast. Shogun's done with his footballs. Johnny rocks up.
All right.
Branding 101.
Yeah.
Psionics go, cocaine. It's E for everyone.
E for everybody. Oh, there's like a family playing in a park with like the kids got like white dust on their noses. It sounds
how
lovely.
cute.
This is definitely the kind of advert that I could see appearing in the Rocket League channel.
Imagine playing in a park. Good times.
Yeah, that'd be nice. So, I mean, talking about then the RLCS side of things. Obviously, Johnny, you are now part of the, at least online broadcast with the RLCS. So you're brought in alongside Shogun when it all went online as of week like 5 or so, 4 or 5. And I wanted to ask you a question because some people have said that obviously there have been times where your internet / the host stream has made you all fuzzy. You drop. Other things have happened. Do you now have enough money to upgrade your internet?
Yeah, I'm glad to say that I've made the necessary investments. No, this isn't the issue, guys. So everybody's like trying to be tech support remote who don't really know what the problems are. But if you see my webcam going fuzzy on stream, that's just Skype, because the broadcast team had to come up with a solution very fast. They very suddenly found out, okay, we can't broadcast from the studio. Casters are going to be remote. We have to fix it. We have to come up with a solution right now that fits all of their assets and all their graphics.
They had to do it twice as well. The first time, at least they could operate in person, and then even they became remote. So there were two phases to this too,
Yeah, I'm honestly like really surprised pleasantly and really impressed with what they've come up with on such a short notice. It's very, very good actually to work with, and it's really good to watch as well. But there are of course going to be limitations, like the lag is there's quite a lot of delay, so trying to have a conversation with Shogun, for example, when we're casting, it's not as easy as when we're in person, obviously. But the reason for that, I thought it would be better for us initially, because I was thinking, well, we're quite close. He's in England, I'm in Scotland. That's going to be quite good. But actually what happens is that whatever I say pings all the way to California and then comes back to him. And then he says something, it goes all the way to California and back to me. So there's quite a huge delay between, him ending what he says and me hearing it and then speaking and then him hearing that. So it's been hard, but we're trying our best to make it work. In fact, I've started guessing when Shogun's finished talking on pretty much every sentence.
I've been trying to do that for 3 years. It's really difficult. Yeah. He just carries on.
Well, I was gonna say it's actually not that hard because he's very consistent with how he finishes his sentences when he's casting and how he finishes his vocal fluctuations. So you can hear, he's about to be done talking, and I'll just talk like from my perspective over his last word. So as soon as he's done talking, I'm already talking about what I'm gonna say. But then on the stream, it just makes the delay go from this to this. So it's like
it's still not
we're trying our best.
Well, I remember Shogun said to us on Facebook, I think it was before your guys' first cast, so a few weeks ago now. He said that anyone who's expecting you guys to have the conversational style of casting that we've seen at DreamHacks is going to be disappointed, because for the reasons that you said, it's just not the same. You can't give the hand signals, like you can't sort of cut him off, say, shush, I've got something to say. It's just tougher in every conceivable way. But I think that Stumpy will agree with me, and everybody listening to this will agree that both you guys and also all the other combos that are starting to get a little bit more conversational. I've been singing the praises of Jamesbot and Jorby, because I've noticed that over the last, probably this season, so before they left the studio, they were getting more conversational as well. They were getting more and more comfortable with having this style of casting that wasn't pure play-by-play color. And I think that each and every person that's part of the talent has just done a fantastic job to make things as normal as they possibly can be in horrible circumstances. And it's something that we're not going to get sick of saying, because we do get sick of having a go at Psionics. It's tiring to constantly be thinking, if only they fucking did this. So when there are these wins, it's lovely just to praise, to gush.
They're on a roll as well. They're on
Such
a roll
a roll.
of wins right now. Like, despite the fact they have had huge amounts of adversity. I've seen people in our Discord as well who have said, "Oh my god, it's so laggy, I can't believe this." And then we don't even need to jump in because somebody else says, "Well, consider their perspective where they were able to, but they were completely fine at the start of the season. Then all talent was remote, but they were in studio, and then they were removed from the studio. They had to get stuff done within that week, have it rigorously tested for 100,000 people to watch with the money that they've got." And run it from a completely different area with none of the equipment that they're used to. It is an incredible job that every single tech person has done. And the same with any of the casters, Leaf, Gibbs, who were there for like the entire 8-hour day.
I think you're going to end it there. Leaf, Gibbs, who were there.
They were there.
Who exist, I suppose.
I did want to say,
it's amazing.
There was one time where I got annoyed and had to go, and it turned out that it was just a temporary error. It was when Corelli had his first cast back. It was like...
Oh, yeah, the microphone.
Yeah.
I don't know what that was.
Well, I think I know what it was.
Fixed.
I think what's happened is that his webcam had stolen the microphone. So
Oh,
Windows
yeah,
had gone,
Skype
"Oh,
will
you
do
have a
that
webcam.
sometimes.
You should probably use that."
Because-
and obviously he didn't realise, so he was talking as if it was there. But the reason I got annoyed was because I was like, they should have tested this. His mic doesn't work, blah blah blah. But it is just because in the moment he was going to start going live.
No,
his mic switched
there
and
are
then they
always
fixed
test
it.
calls and like tests for the audio and the video, but sometimes it just changes. Like
It does,
I've been
yeah,
so
exactly.
zoomed in sometimes, and that's not like untested.
Sort of
It's
like
not
just your
because I
nose.
did that on
I
purpose.
think,
it's
I
just
think
because
Jorby
like,
had that problem as well where he was really zoomed in.
yeah, like the call starts and it's just so, and I don't know what it's gonna look like on the actual stream until that happens. So I know I can see like in the top corner of Skype like what my current webcam zoom is at, and then it pops onto the live feed, and I'm just literally, my face is all you can see. I'm like, how did that happen? So I click like zoom out, and then it goes to the wide angle, and I'm like miles away. I'm like, it's just Skype messing around. It's all just the program.
For any tech guys listening to this, or friends of tech guys, I'm not going to pretend that I know about the technology, but from my end user perspective, Stumpy and I use a program called ICQ instead of Skype. And it is the most flawless video talking platform we have ever used. Whenever we mention it, people go, "Oh, ICQ, that's shit. I remember that from the 90s. Pretend you've never heard of it. Give it a fresh go. Maybe it doesn't work with whatever clever mixer systems that you have in your sort of like, the proper broadcasting things. But all I can say is that for me as an end user, that has been completely perfect. And it's got fun
Agreed.
effects as well. So
It does. You can like make yourself look like an orange,
Yeah.
and like a lion, and like you can have one where you look like Davy Jones from Parts of the Caribbean, and your tentacles have got like physics to them and they wobble. Honestly,
That's amazing.
We had
That's
the
what we
best thing
need.
ever.
When Stumpy and I were doing
need
one of
that.
our prediction streams, or pre-RLCS hype streams, we were doing our predictions, and Stumpy was putting on all these effects, and he was just turning himself into like a little orange, and I was sort of trying to play the straight man, and so was he, while putting the effects on, and we were trying to make as many sort of puns as we could about all this thing. So we're like, "Oh yeah, we reckon they're going to sort of, peel off and get a decent 3-1 result, and Orange glad that they're going to play really well today." Just trying to play it as straight as
I
possible.
put a picture in our chat of me as an orange.
Oh wow, yeah,
It's
Like-
full-on orange, isn't it?
that's exceptional.
It just
it is.
like
I
the
like
orange
that.
is just like bouncing about on the screen, like the peels moving up and down.
And we were trying to make puns about it.
Like, see, if somebody did this in RLCS, they'd probably be in so much trouble, but it would be
It's
the
so
highlight
worth
of the
it.
entire show.
We'll put because we got
if
told
Gibbs
off.
just comes on as a shark or something, one of the segments,
we got told off before.
makes a
for,
joke about being underwater.
Yeah.
for not posting the picture of Ferro with his Jigglypuff toy to
on Twitter.
We will attach the picture of me as an orange to the tweet
Yes.
I'm going to send Stumpy a message now as a reminder.
because it's just so like every time I see it, it's just such a funny little picture of me as a little orange. It's amazing. So
I've just sent
yeah,
Stumpy
you
a
look
message
worried.
in caps just saying, "Attach orange."
attach orange.
That's what
I'm
it says.
concerned, mainly, as I would say.
Concerned little fruit. Hey, I found a picture of me as a bear. Oh god, it's so small. No, sorry, a lion. It's just that. Oh my god. There we
God,
go.
let's see this one.
Honestly, the effects are weirdly good.
They're too good.
There's no right for them to be as good as they are. Like, imagine the best Snapchat filter you can think of, listeners, and it's better than that.
Yeah.
But
So-
It's actually really good. There's probably people doing this kind of thing by accident all over the world right now, working from home during the coronavirus. All these boomers trying to use all these voice call programs to have meetings. They just turn themselves into like a potato. And they're like,
That's
sorry
the
guys,
exact one.
I don't know how to turn that off. I guess I'm a potato for the rest of the meeting.
Did you see the tweet of the woman, the boss, and she was in a meeting with her 2 employees, and she turned herself into a potato and didn't know how to change herself back, so they had to just keep the conversation going on as normal and pretend it wasn't the case.
Yeah, people are probably doing this right now quite often.
What are you up to?
There you go, I found it.
That's it, yeah.
It's like Piglet.
This is her looking really unimpressed, like as a potato underground.
There's lipstick and eyeshadow. It doesn't look like a potato at all, by the way. It's a really poor potato. Like it's nothing compared to the lion that you've just shown me.
I was gonna say, yeah. If anyone knows that potato, ICQ is so much better.
The lion
than
filter is
100%.
incredible.
See, use ICQ. It's better than like Zoom and stuff. Honestly, people will have more fun using ICQ than Zoom or Teams or anything that your bosses are telling you to use. We can move on to the North American playoffs in the RLCS. I've got a couple things to talk about here. One good, one bad. The first one being where the Susquehanna Llama Del Rey Stingrays, they ended up absolutely shitting the bed and going 0-4, 0-4. First to NRG, second to Ghost Gaming, leaving Sathu with a 0-16 record in regional playoffs
More
from
like
Season 7 and
Sathu.
Season 9.
That's disappointing.
Yeah, I feel like we were really on
Sathu's
a roll
record,
there.
not the Coles.
Yeah.
Thank
joke.
you, Johnny. That's what I wanted to
Well,
hear.
I mean, Cole's joke was sort of, do you know what I mean? Like, not...
If I was a potato, you'd have laughed.
Agree. Hard agree.
That's true, actually.
Yeah, I'm up for that.
Yeah, that's true.
So, I mean, I basically wanted to ask you, Johnny, if you saw anything that was noticeably different about SQ this week than they have been from the all of league play, where they've looked fantastic. They only scored 5 goals across 8 games. It was horrific.
And they also got perfect swept for 3 games before that as well. So it's 5 goals across 11 games as well.
I mean, it starts to, the first result against NRG was always going to be hard to come back from. And with Ghost just smashing Cloud9 as well, like it was pretty obvious who's coming into that series in the lower quarterfinals with the momentum on their side. So I wasn't surprised by the result going in Ghost's favor. 4-0 maybe twice in a row is that surprising, but I called it in the cast. I do think that, or I did predict that NRG would have a good matchup against Sonics, who are a bit more defensive. I think the teams that do best against NRG are the ones that put pressure on them. And Sonics don't really try to play like that, at least not from what I've seen. So it was always going to be a difficult one. And yeah, starting off the day with a really tough matchup and losing 4-0 is difficult. That's really tough to come back from. Like you said, Sathu would have been 0-12 in playoffs at that point. Like him personally, that's really going to start like grinding on your mental ability.
Well, yeah. Does
your
that
consistency
hang over to the next season then? Are the Sonics looking at themselves and just thinking, in the end, that was a bit shit? Crap, they were right. We are the bottom team. We just got lucky.
Yeah.
All these thoughts started to come back into their mind now. They have been, let's say, they've been outclassed for 3 series in a row.
Well, they've also got, bear in mind, the bonus of Shock earning NA MVP. Like, they have got that going for them, where at least they know that before the start of the day, they had the most valuable player in all of North America. And that might do something to stem the flow of negative thoughts, but I think
so.
it's... I hope it doesn't get to the point where everyone then talks about it, just like how we saw the PSG reverse sweep thing, where they always got reverse swept, and it played on their minds. And I think Fruity and Ferran Chaussette all said in various interviews, whatever. But yeah, it plays on your mind when you go 2 or 3 games up in a series. Is it gonna happen again? Do we get reverse swept again? And it gets to a very scary point. Hopefully, it doesn't though.
It's a really difficult position because now they didn't finish top 4, so they're not automatically into the spring series. So they have to really think carefully. Are they going to try out a different roster for the spring series? I personally have no idea. Most of the roster changes that happen are not just because of ability on the field. It's chemistry off the field as well. But this is exactly the format they're going to have to qualify for the Spring Series through, a bracket, not a league. They did quite well in league play, but they're not in a league for the Spring Series qualifiers. They're in a bracket. They didn't do too well in this bracket, so maybe there needs to be a change. And it's difficult, really difficult to make that decision. It's not long until the NA Spring Series gets underway.
It's tough as well. The Spring Series, of all the other teams in America, like, as far if I've got this right, it is completely open for 4 spots, completely and utterly, no head starts for RLCS teams or anything like that. Is that right? And it's just 4 spots on top of the 4 that have already been taken. Because that is fine lines.
Yes.
Yeah, there's just 4.
I believe it's all also best of 5, from what I read before.
Yeah,
So
it's going to be tough.
There's a very real world where the other 4 aren't any of the RLCS teams. It is all sort of like a bunch of teams that just sort of sweep through them. So there's no... Like, if I were them, I wouldn't even... I mean, I'd have the Spring Series in the back of their mind, but I think that that's such harsh lines that they can't use that as having any sort of weight on the future, maybe, just because it is so tough to get into that.
I think it'd be silly to switch up a roster. Obviously, I don't know, going purely by the on-pitch performance, I know nothing about what's happening behind the scenes, if there are any issues. But I think just going off one bad result, you can't split up because of that. You need to at least have a trend. It's risky to team hop. Some players have done it. K-Dop's made a career out of it, ultimately. But there are other teams where they've stuck together and they've done well out of it. So it's one of those moments where hopefully they stick together if everything off the pitch is fine.
We should get Drippe back.
Hoping that it will be.
Get him in.
Well, they fly Drippe over again.
SQ, yeah, get Drippe over. Take 2.
Fuck it, see what happens.
Think of the documentaries, mate. What a story that would be if he nailed it.
We're getting on to your documentary thoughts later, Carl. But first we're going to look at G2, who ended up being the North American champions, ended up beating Space Station 4-0. And
wow.
They're finally playing how people say. This is the second time I've done this bit because I said NRG to begin with. Yeah, fuck you and your continuity.
But NRG playing scrims.
That G2 play in scrims, and they're really bloody good now. I absolutely love watching this version of G2 where I'm not worried that something small might completely trip them over.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like I said before, Sonics don't have a very aggressive play style, so NRG are just able to do all of the things they want to do. They've got so much time on the ball, and you got time for players like Justin to do incredible things, but G2 don't give them that time, so they've always, I think, had a good matchup against NRG, even though NRG have been the team in North America to beat recently. G2, well, maybe not extremely recently, but in the past year, G2, they always seem to have a pretty good chance against them, and they always do well. So I wasn't surprised to see this be a good series, and G2 came out on top. They finally stepped up and performed, all 3 players.
It was a very, very good day in NA, even though it ended obviously very late for us. I think it ended and then the clocks changed. So really it ended at around 2 a.m.
Yeah, exactly.
Our time. But no, it was a really, really good day for North America, and I love watching it. And EU had storylines as fuck going on. My God, it was hectic. And we chatted very slightly about it beforehand, Johnny. Who the fuck is Arju?
Well, I knew he's like a capable player mechanically. I already knew from what I'd seen from him in the past that he wouldn't have any difficulty, playing at the mechanical level in RLCS. The only question was, would he blend well with Cux and speed, and would he play well under pressure? But seems like both those things are going just fine as well. He does play well under pressure, and he does blend extremely well with speed and Cux. So I think that's an amazing result. Like, mine's top 4 with Arju, winning 3 of their last 4 series in this season. That's incredible. Taking Dignitas to Game 7. If I don't see them playing with Arju in the Spring Series, I'll be very disappointed.
There you go. So if you guys are listening, Cooksir and Speed, you'll upset Johnny Boy if you don't play with Arju. And I think you'll also upset a lot of other people as well, because they weren't... They never looked like they were against the ropes, even against Dignitas. They took the game to those guys, and they utterly obliterated Reciprocity. They really just put Reciprocity to the sword. Reciprocity, who struggled Porsche set, wasn't his finest.
They nearly got perfect swept. It was one goal that stopped Reciprocity in Game 3 from getting perfect swept.
Which is like an own goal as well.
Yeah.
And you mentioned whether Arju was going to blend well with Speed and Cooksir. We saw a clip from Scrub Killer because he was sort of streaming a viewing party, and he was saying that when he was with Mouse, if Speed played well, they were, in his words, unstoppable. And if Speed wasn't playing as well, they'd struggle a little bit. And Scrub then went on to say that to his eye, watching it through the broadcast, Speed looked more comfortable playing with Arju than he ever did with himself, with Scrub. So he's bet big on this being a proper roster as well. So all the people that are smart are saying stick with Arju.
Yeah, well, Scrub never left. He, from what I can see, and I don't know all the behind the scenes on this either, but it didn't look like he left at all because of the team. Like he did. Yeah,
that's not the impression I got either.
Like he had nothing against like the Mouse players. Nothing against Arju and Speed and Cox. So like if he's saying this, then that just shows that his reasons for leaving the team were entirely to do with the organization. And he's right. Arju is a good fit for them. They're playing very well, and they seem to be. Playing quite confidently. I hope it can continue. I think it will if they stick together. I'm not one who believes this is just a honeymoon period and they're going to suddenly be terrible after this.
I hate honeymoon periods in Rocket League. I love it when you think they're going to be good and then they are. And you can say, yeah, I said it 3 months ago, and it fits that narrative. I adore it.
Yeah.
I know that some people have said as well that I was talking to Junior in our Discord, and he was saying, genuine question, because I tweeted out saying, if he's not on the roster for, I think I said the next season, but I meant to say for Spring Series, then I think it's a silly move on behalf of Mouse. This is like a nice, easy pre-made just to rock up with and see what happens. Ultimately, it's almost like it's a relatively pressure-free trial run. And he was saying, do you really think that that would work? And I think, yeah, it would, because his main point was, it's different playing week in, week out with expectations behind you compared to coming in as a sub and essentially having the mentality of, I can't lose here. Either we win and it's an incredible day, holy shit, I'm a sub and we've won, or we lose and, you know what, fair play, we should have lost anyway, all is right with the world. Maybe that changes if he goes onto a main roster and maybe the mentality does end up getting to him, but right now there's no signs of that.
Well, what's the alternative? People who suggest this or people who are doubting, of course there's a chance that next season won't be the same. And it might be because of what you've just said. It might be because when they're not the underdogs, they start to play worse. We have seen that in the past from various teams and players. But what's the other option? Try out multiple players and see that one guy's working well in scrims, then you try a tournament with him and it doesn't work and you're back to square one anyway. I think it's like I said, such a free win for Mouse. They've got like Arju tested in league play and in playoffs off the highest level of competition right now since there's no LANs. Like, you can't get any better than that. Like, what else are you looking for? You want to go practice with a player in scrims and see if he does well there? What would you rather? A player you do well with in scrims or a player you do well with in RLCS?
Well, that's the question. Like, if they do scrims with him and he continues to be, I'm not saying they're going to win every single series in scrims, but if he performs as expected in scrims, then he has ticked the box for competitive and he has ticked the box for scrims. He's ticked both boxes. Whereas if you get somebody new in, as you say, by definition, they will only have ticked one of those boxes because they won't have had the chance to compete in competition yet. So is
you're also
the
risking
obvious
it.
choice.
You're not even guaranteed that.
Exactly.
You're risking it. I think it's like such a risk. What if I've heard some people suggest that, okay, Arju should now be just one of many open tryouts for Mouse. And I'm like thinking to myself, this is the dumbest idea I've ever heard. It'll be like Casio 2.0, as if they're, when Triple Trouble told Casio, yeah, we're not benching you, we're not kicking you, but we are going to try out other players for your position.
True.
Oh, that didn't work. By the way, can you come back and play for our team? As if that's ever going to work, even if he does come back. Like, that atmosphere is destroyed.
And his confidence potentially as well. So if they do end up
confidence is obliterated at
he'll
that
know
point.
that he's always
you need to be
choice.
all in. Mouse have to be all in on Arju right now. They have to just say, we fully believe, you've proven yourself, you're part of this team. Let's go and win some games. Let's go win some tournaments together.
I think it helps as well with the Italian link that they've got as well, where you've got that, even if it's not something you're considering at the time, Coxer, which firstly, his English has got, holy shit, so much better. Like, I was watching the video where he was trying to identify who had scored what goals at season, I guess season 8 LAN, I guess it was. And it was so interesting. So the last time I spoke to him was at season 6 in Vegas, and I didn't speak to him very much because I thought, okay, he's not obviously the most confident with English, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
It was fantastic. I really like seeing that. And the fact that he now got an Italian teammate, it must just be bolstering his confidence even further because he knows what they are now capable of. He's got a countryman behind him. Speed is obviously going to be one where he's happy to almost go with the flow and be happy with how this is forming. No matter what's happening.
He comes across the man who speaks at least 4 languages, so I'm sure he'll be fine dipping into his Italian knowledge and chatting with Cooksir and Arju, so that should be okay. Should be fine.
Hopefully. Maybe he's
4 different accents, maybe.
Reading a pack of like pasta packets and dolmio and stuff, trying to pick up bits and bobs.
He speaks with his hands, and they say, "Put your hands on the bloody controller, man!" And he's there sort of doing that with his in the air.
Now, it makes sense as well in that context because next year, if the Olympics does go ahead, I'm sure the Intel Open is likely to as well. So you're doing a really smart thing to like team up with people from your own country at the moment. Because, I mean, if Intel Open doesn't happen, I'm sure somebody's gonna make a tournament
Cup?
like that happen.
Oh,
Yeah.
Johnny, is that a little wink to the
obvious.
camera as you say that?
Yeah, maybe we'll see. But
I
have
love
been known
the
to do
old-
international
The last
matches in the
World
past.
Cup was like years ago, like 3 years or
So
something.
long ago, yeah.
So yeah, one every 4 years, you know.
Oh, I
That's how
suppose
it's supposed
so.
to be.
Johnny, you can't say these things and not mean these things, man. You know that,
Yeah,
right?
we did one in 2017. So if it's 2021 Olympics, it's just meant to be.
Johnny, I
guess.
swear to
You
God,
know,
if you're
one every
lying
4
to me.
years. Yeah,
I love the old World Cup. It was so funny. It's
Yeah, the
great.
World Cup is great fun.
And now England's even better. So like
Yeah.
we've actually got players that will do well.
Who would you pick for your England 3v3 team right now?
Speed. Devo Bluey?
No,
That team would
I
work.
wouldn't
But
go-
Devo
I
and
wouldn't
Bluey
go
want to
Bluey.
play
You're
together. they probably
forgetting.
wouldn't.
You're
Yeah,
forgetting one
exactly.
player that I think you're gonna really want to include.
Hang on. I'm thinking.
Stumpy especially will definitely want to include
Stumpy's favourite English player is Junior.
this guy. No.
It's right. Devo, Speed. I'm so bad at the nationality.
Yeah, me
Remember?
too.
Let's think
Oh,
of
I know
English
who you
players.
mean.
Think
This
of
guy's
English
English.
players.
I think it's this one. The clue I'm giving you, Johnny, is this the right one from that team?
Relating wave.
Is he the English one? There's one on the team
No,
that's
that wasn't
English.
what I was thinking of, but he is
Oh,
English.
I do like Endpoint, to be fair.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was thinking. You were saying Stumpy.
That
was
wasn't
one
who I
of
was thinking of,
So
but
other
he is
English
English.
players. I Ignite. Sorry,
them. Not anymore.
Sorry, I. Asked me a year ago. Oh. I'm so
Everyone
bad at
listening to this is
nationality.
screaming at us right now.
I
You that,
know,
right?
right, Johnny? You can't tell us. I'm not.
We've never
Googling
claimed to have a
anything.
memory. Right, let's go through the RLCS. So we've got from the top down.
I thought originally when Johnny said you'll love them, I thought Dignitas. No, none of them.
Yeah, and then I thought Endpoint. Apparently not either. So
Fair
from
enough.
the top down, we've got Dignitas. No.
Yeah, Vitality, all French.
No. Mouse. No. Vitality
Endpoint.
beat.
We've got Nachitao and Relating Wave and the other one.
Virtuoso.
Virtuoso.
Irish. They're your favourite team.
Sorry, at Virtuoso.
Oh,
We've
no.
also got AS Monaco. No.
We're missing the mid-table here. We finished.
Reciprocity. No.
No. Who are you thinking of?
Singularity. Smiller.
No.
Oh.
Ref.
Dutch.
No, I thought he was
he's
German.
Dutch. Shit.
I thought
Sorry,
he
I
was
was-
German.
He's Dutch,
No.
mate.
Is
yeah,
he?
of course he is. Shit.
Oh
Yeah.
shit! I've always thought he was
Shit, my
German.
bad.
Is it?
Sorry,
You
this is
think of
hilarious.
Tho or Nolly?
Yeah, which-
Johnny just gave such a look of like just incredulous. Just like
okay, yes, it is a player in this team, but you don't know which one of them's English.
It's Tho, isn't it?
Nolly.
No, Nolly's English.
Nolly's the English
Bollocks.
one.
He's like the second coming of Devo.
Here we go.
even
Right.
sounds like him.
Wait. Why would I like him? Is he tall? Is that why you were saying it?
No, I just thought you liked Singularity, mate.
No,
I was
it's
like, you're such a
Endpoint.
Singularity
I
fan.
love Endpoint. Endpoint
Clearly,
are boys.
you're gonna put Nolly in your team, and I think he deserves it. I think Nolly's been a fantastic player.
I agree. Yeah, they'd be my.
Out of RLCS.
Me and Connor agree with you. Johnny, say why we all agree with what your points are going to be. Why? What?
Why do we
I-
think Nolly should be?
I agree with whatever you're about to say, Johnny, because I definitely.
Well, I
knew
mean,
it was
if you just
Nolly.
look at RLCS results and you're going down the table, Speed is the highest placing English
Yeah.
player, followed by Flame
Agreed.
of Veloce. And then you got Devo of Barcelona and Nolly of Singularity. There, and then a relating wave of Endpoint. And at the bottom of the table, I Ignite from AS Monaco. So you got your players to choose from there.
I'll still go Bluey.
Yeah,
Oh.
Bluey is no, he's not coming up actually.
No, they
failed to
didn't make it, did they?
They failed to make the playoffs, and
Yeah.
no,
They'll
there's
be in the
no
rival
English.
series next season again. at least.
Yeah. He's in the rifle senior season
Yeah.
if he stays with TT, but they're not top 3. No English players in the promotion tournament at all, except Relating Wave, who's gone in there from RLCS.
I know that every time I've met Flame, I've always also met his parents, and his dad is a lovely bloke. He always comes up and says hi. You always have a really nice chat.
Yeah, shout out to Flame's dad.
He's lovely. Like, he came up to me at London, said, "Hey, Stumpy, how you doing? I'm Flame's dad." I'm like, what? I don't know how you know me, but fair enough. This is great. We had a lovely little chat. He did the same at Madrid on the final day, and my voice was just dead. And I was like, "I'm so sorry, I can barely talk." And that's right, leave it to it.
What if he's listening to this right now, and the whole time listening to this, he was saying, Flame.
Stumpy, I
My
talk
son.
to you often.
My son, Flame.
I put you on the spot there. It wasn't fair at all. But
You assume that we knew the thing that we are making a career in.
You forget that
that's
we're
your fault.
idiots.
I just thought if Stumpy's predicted Singularity to win over SRG 5-1, then he's picking Nolly for his England team. That was my logic. But
You've
guess this
you've
was-
come out of this better than we have, Johnny, because you actually have logic to what you said, and I definitely didn't at the time.
I mean, the England team's a tough one though, because I think really you just have to pick a captain who's probably going to be speed, and then he's going to pick his team.
Yeah.
So who does he prefer playing with? Maybe he's going to go with some of the older players, like the OGs, like Devo, who have the experience, or maybe he'll go for the newer guys, like Nolly.
Like
Like Nolly and Relating Wave are the new guys in RLCS right now, and then Ignite, Flame, they go back a bit farther. So, which would you prefer?
I think Speed's 100% the team captain, and I think he would put in. I think the England team would be very strong for 2021. Bear in mind, a year ago we wouldn't have even considered Nolly, and then now we're looking at it and thinking, yes, like he can ultimately be in the squad. So I think in a year there might be another English player that comes up. Could be Junior.
Yeah. Well,
You
your
never
team
know.
based on RLCS finishing closing standings is going to be Speed, Devo, and Flame.
Yeah.
But I think Nolly's just so good right now, and he's going to be on the rise. I think.
Well, I can't
He's
wait for
very
your World
talented.
Cup, Johnny. It's going to be a great event in 2021.
Yeah.
Nor could I.
confirmed.
It's really interesting.
Well, unfortunately,
Sponsored by Civic.
there are no English players on Dignitas, but they ended up being the European champions, taking down Runner Vitality 4-2 in the grand finals. But, Cole, they got there by beating Mouse Sports, and you changed your Discord name to a sad face when Mouse Sports lost to Dignitas. Why?
I considered making my profile picture just a black sort of JPEG as well,
Box.
but I stopped short
Yeah.
there. Basically, since the Vitality Dignitas video came out, I observe Rocket League in the form of documentaries, and when I see a good story starting to bubble, I root for that story to happen above all else. So basically, going into this weekend, I thought that we had one attempt for a documentary-worthy story, and that attempt was going to be Cloud9, who is going to be the rise and fall and rise of Cloud9. They were amazing, they got shit, and not just sort of quite bad and lost a few games like G2, they got shit, right? And then they looked like they'd had a miraculous comeback. They'd made their league play 5-4, no, 5 and whatever it was. Suddenly, Cloud9 are
4-1
brilliant
down
again.
to
Yeah,
5-4.
5-4. Suddenly, Cloud9 are brilliant again. And then against Ghost, it was back to them just looking awkward and janky and not quite up to scratch. It was like, that's this season's sort of perfect storyline's gone. But then, wait, what's this? Scrub Killer leaves Mouse mid-season. Someone called Arju comes in and he's amazing. Wait a minute, he's just made it through to the semi-finals against Dignitas, which includes Astral, his former teammate from French fries, pizza and sauerkraut, or whatever they were called. Yeah. Exactly, this is a perfect storyline. If only they can beat Dignitas and make it to the final. This is the story I want to write. And it was getting closer and closer to that Game 7, and I could just sense Doomsy's editing coming in and me sort of, playing with the wording, making this thing seem as fantastic as
Mouse
possible.
had 2 game points as well.
Mouse had 2 game points as
Serious
well.
points.
All they had to do was win. And then Dignitas, Panda, you bastard, you've ruined my bloody script. Because you can't have a script of saying, the sub came in and then he lost in the semis. If it was the finals, maybe, but not the semis. So I was very upset that... I wasn't upset that Dignitas won. I was upset that Mouse lost. And then I was ecstatic that Dignitas beat Vitality in the grand finals. But it was so close to that second perfect documentary storyline.
That was an incredible grand finals as well. Johnny, you
So
and Shogun
good.
casted it together. And it was like I was watching it in my living room and Charlotte had finished work and we were just chilling out, and she goes, I'm going to put like a Britain 99 on TV. I was, no, I'm very much watching this series. I'm not going anywhere right now. I need to see what happens. And it was an absolutely incredible showing from both teams. Vitality weren't at their 100%, but Dignitas were at like 110. They were absurd. And the main player for them, the EU MVP, who secured that about 4 weeks in, was Astral, who scored one of the best goals I have seen in the RLCS in league play. And Johnny,
crazy.
It was game 2, and it was insane.
Yeah, that was absolutely wild. That was one that I really wish me and Shogun could have been on a live cast for, because we could have reacted like more in time with the goal happening. But that's just me selfishly wanting to have a nice bit of B-roll because the goal was so good. But
nice sound bite.
Honestly, it was a really cool way to end the stream and end the series, or end the playoffs, I should say, because Vitality Dignitas, you're always going to get a good series. So that, like, even though Mouse didn't make the final, which I'm sure a lot of people were disappointed about because they were making a crazy cool run. You can't, like Cole said, you're not sad about the outcome. You get to see Dignitas Vitality again, so exactly. It's a win. It's always a good series, and they're both extremely good teams. And Astral, I think, just putting on a MVP performance, like you said.
Best in the world?
Possibly. I think possibly right now, because it's hard to look at. Well, there's a lot of top teams right now. Vitality, Dignitas, and EU. Then at NA, you've got the return of NRG, maybe G2, SSG before they got smashed, Ghost even getting involved. But it's hard to pick a player from all those teams who's doing as much for his team as Astral is for Dignitas. I think he's got to be right now. Yeah. If you had to pick one, he would have to be the best player in the world.
I'd recommend that anybody go back and watch that goal again, because it wasn't just Astral being in a good place and obviously being mechanically insane, because it was from Panda's pass, which somebody pointed out to me in Discord today, where it was 0 seconds and he got it off the side wall perfectly to Astral so that he could catch it, hit the backboard, double tap it, get a flip reset, then got the triple tap and scored from above the crossbar against 3 Vitality players who were in net.
On 0 seconds.
On 0 seconds.
All after it,
At a tight angle. If he hits that straight down, it's overtime.
It got that perfect slice into the net. Like, it was unreal.
That's utterly disgusting. I didn't know. If you asked me who passed the ball, I'm not going to lie, I wouldn't know, because it was so long ago. Like, by the time Astral was done scoring that goal, I'm like, who passed the ball again? I don't know. If it didn't say assist at the bottom of the screen, I wouldn't be surprised, because assists only have a certain time window. Yeah, he was in the air for so long, and he's just like bouncing. The ball's bouncing between him and the backboard, for a couple of minutes, and then he eventually just puts it in. It was that was crazy.
We've had some really good goals this season. Like, it's been a very, very good season for goals. Well, a few dud weeks, but the goals that we have had, which we're going to be making a video of, have been unbelievable. Like, they're some of the best that we've ever seen in league play. Like, every week we've had like a new one where I've thought, fuck, that might be the best goal we've ever seen. And I think this one is, though.
It could be. It's in the discussion. This is absolutely crazy.
It was that one, or the third best man in England, Nolly's double tap.
The corner one.
The corner dumb angle one. I saw that and I thought, my friend, are worth
over his nose.
a place in England's squad. That's what I thought when I saw that.
Did you see Atomic's goal though as well? In
yes,
NA?
Versus Cloud9.
Yeah, the fake flip reset, reverse flick dunk midair.
Yeah, it was posted in that Discord
was insane
earlier
as well.
I hated it. I want a Cloud9 to win for my documentary. I hated every second of that.
I think there's also KDOP's one a couple of weeks ago where he went over the top of, I can't remember which team it was, and he ended up getting the flip reset off the ceiling and then bipped it down behind whoever it was in net from a really disgusting angle. It was like a triple tap beating all 3 players as well.
Not quite mechanical, but God Smiller's OT winner against Vitality, forcing an own goal against KDOP.
The pull shot.
The pull shot. That's an iconic goal.
I wonder if Vitality are going to fail.
Yeah.
It's iconic, but man, what luck.
Exactly.
What luck.
Yeah. So, Johnny, my question to you is, mate, now that we've got our regional champions, Are you going to organise an unofficial Season 9 World Finals?
And before you answer, I want history to always know that I was the first to say it in our Twitter DMs. I messaged you a few weeks ago and I said, hey, your boy's got an idea. How about when this is all over, you run it? And now you got Dignitas and G2 organising it themselves on Twitter. You know, this is happening.
Yeah, I didn't know that was going to happen when Chicago called out Dignitas on Twitter, and then Dignitas called out G2 officially.
It was
Twitter.
Dignitas' official account.
Yeah, I didn't know anything about that, but you know, Chicago asked me if I would, or asked if G2 wanted to play, or if Dig wanted to play on my stream. I mean, it's a no-brainer for me. I think I would be doing the community a disservice if I didn't do
No,
that,
I don't actually fancy this one. It might be too much work. You know what?
Yeah, nah, guys. It's the competitive integrity ping, blah, blah, blah. Not gonna allow it. No, of course I would cast this. Yeah, if Dig and G2 want to play, then I'm down.
Make him play drop shot.
Come up
Just
with a
chuck a
format.
curveball.
Drop shot.
Yeah.
I mean, I
it.
might accidentally.
Double
I've been known to accidentally start lobbies with bots, or with 1-goal wins.
Yeah.
But there
All
was that one
kinds of
the other
things.
day that started, but it
Wrong
said there were
server.
no mutators on, but it had the 1 goal or the 3 goals.
That's
or
right.
something.
Yeah. I thought, I've messed it up again. I've started a game with the 1-goal mutator on, but I hadn't. It was just a bug. So
It was
just wanted to
really
put
weird.
that in there.
'Cause
That
it
one
just
wasn't my
ended,
fault.
and it was like, oh, they're on.
Yeah, it's happened so many times that I'm just used to it by now, so it doesn't really bother me. I could get straight back into casting mode, no problem. But yeah, to me it's just funny when that happens. It's like, whatever, I'll let people see. I'm not going to switch to the holding screen real quick and be like, we've got technical difficulties, guys. We'll be back in a second. It's just like, yeah, you can see what's going on. This is what's happening right now as we remake a game at 20 seconds left with no admin mode.
I love that also. Yeah,
fine.
you weren't doing the admin mode thing because you had to then wait for some of the players to they had to wait till 3 minutes.
Yeah, I
in
don't have
and to
admin
score a
mode,
goal.
so we just have to wait until the right time and
Oh,
then make
yeah.
the score the right score.
The both ones
You
that I
can't just
saw,
set it.
they fucked up by 1 second.
Because there's always
Yeah,
someone
mate,
that
it's close
bumps at
enough.
the last minute, thinking they're being clever,
Yeah.
and always messes up the timing.
It's because they're so eager to get back into it. I understand that
It's
it's
Senzo
difficult
that
to-
always
to
screwed it
wait.
up, or someone. There's someone that's sort of infamous for
Yeah.
it.
Nolly, I think, nailed it. He started slow rolling the ball at the goal with 4 seconds to go, and he still got it in the right second. So
He's
really
definitely the
good-
third
good
best
play by
Englishman.
him.
Yeah.
Definitely an English player. Yeah,
That was so clutch it for me as the star player for England. But, yeah,
Build a team around him. That's what I've always said, Johnny.
Yeah.
you just gotta roll with them. You just gotta let it happen. I mean, I think my chat and my tournaments they don't get as frustrated with technical difficulties and stuff like this happening because I don't just hide what's happening.
Yeah.
I don't know if it would be right for other tournaments or for for RLCS especially to do what I do, just show the lobby.
Well, we get to
Show what's
see them
happening.
sort of stacking on the goalposts and stuff like that, and all sorts of crazy stuff that they get.
But
up
with
to.
admin mode, that's not really happening as well. Like
Yeah,
they just
true.
go in the server for a few seconds, drive around, hit the ball, and then they're like, okay, yeah, this is good. Then it just gets paused. So it's not as interesting.
Yeah.
You like watching players decide how they're going to spend 3 minutes of a goal, of a game without scoring. Because scoring would be really bad.
It would ruin it. Yeah.
Yeah, you'd have to do it again. So yeah.
No,
it's
I've always
interesting.
liked how sort of I think that's what people like. It's the personable streams where
Yeah, it's
just-
transparent.
it's somebody being a TO with the world-class players, and there's going to be shit that goes on that's going to be unaccounted for, but everyone's in it together. And it's not like you're putting on a facade of no, this is going to be the perfect tournament. It's going to run great. 'Cause
Yeah,
it just
there's
won't.
no facade of grandeur at all.
Yeah.
It's just, I mean, I'm a streamer at the same time, so I'm just trying to into anything that for the content and the interaction,
Exactly.
just let Twitch chat see what's going on and they can have a good time with it.
Johnny, would you like to dive into the dirty world of Twitter quickfire questions to end up this episode?
Yeah, go on then. Why not?
Let's do it. So, nice and quick fire from @Gregan on Twitter, which, by the way, everybody can submit Twitter questions to us when we tweet out. Normally on, Monday, we tweet out, or this one was, the day off, so sorry, everyone. But make sure you follow @SubPar but in HD, and you'll be able to submit your questions to any of our guests. It's crazy. What a world. So, our first question is from @Gregan. When's the next Bull Spin stream?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, I don't have any plans for that one. Anyone's welcome to take that and just run with it, I'm not going to copy strike them or anything like that.
That'd be hard.
You don't own the rights to ball spin streams.
I don't own it. I don't, want to own it. It's not something I'm trying to do. It's fine. It's open for all.
Do you get
Regan can do it.
like lawyers chasing you up, going, "Hey, Johnny boy, we reckon that you'd be able to license these and really own them, but you just have to sign up."
Yeah, really start to make some big money. Yeah, I need to crack down on that.
What is a personal favourite show match that you have hosted on your stream from @xcranko?
So, I mean, for show match, if he's just referring to one-off show matches, I don't know what one I would choose, honestly. But, I mean, if he's just talking about any match that, like, including
Let's go with
tournaments,
that,
Yeah.
they're the same thing, then it would just have to be the whole EU salt mine as a whole for 1v1, because I think, show match, that's probably what he's referring to, just the 1v1 series. Khaled and Flakes and had a great series in the grand final of that one. But right now, the European Invitational, if this is allowed as an answer, that was such a blast to cast, and the live element of that as well was super fun, because I didn't do any tournaments like this live before, so maybe I think that one was it's got to be number one at the moment.
Did TEI feel more special to you than other stuff you've done in the past?
Well, I recorded a lot of other stuff. See, this is what I'm not sure. Show match, what does this mean? Is it like a live 1v1? Is it
I'd
a
say
live,
it's any sort of thing
one-off thing?
Yeah.
Is it something I recorded? In terms of content that I'm happiest with for YouTube, it's got to be the Salt Mine Europe, because it's just a bit more polished, and I think the numbers in YouTube, they don't lie. They preferred that over there. But for Twitch, it's got to be the European Invitational by far.
I think my favourite show match
so
was Linkuru versus Cool Cole 93.
I didn't know that was for money.
Cool Cole didn't know it was for money.
Yeah.
On a
Afterwards,
Johnny
right.
Boy stream, he didn't realise he was playing for money.
I lost 70 quid to that. I think I took the lead.
70 quid.
Yeah, I know.
No, I remember one shot that you just completely. I think you missed a kickoff or something. Or you missed an easy save, and it was just.
There have been some really good ones. In fact, one show match that I'm really happy with is All-Star Bot against Bronze Player. Don't know if you guys have seen that one.
I'm not, but I want.
It has a million
No, I haven't
views
seen
on
that
YouTube.
specific one.
Oh my god!
It has 1 million views on YouTube, and I'm so happy that video reached 1 million views, because it's. I just went live that day and I didn't know what I was gonna do, and then somebody was like, "Oh, find a bronze player, make the play a bot." And I was like, "Okay, let's do it. Let's find a bot." So we found a bronze player in chat. We're doing detective work, looking at their ranked, stats and stuff to see if they're legitimately bronze. And it was so scripted. It was super scripted. The whole series, bronze versus bot, unbelievable scenes.
I definitely need to watch that.
Yeah.
Next question from @KingCuddy first. Hey Johnny boy, why did the guys from SubPar BNHD use the worst quality photo of you for this announcement?
Didn't you take this photo initially?
I did.
Or you took this screenshot. It was me at Beyond the Summit just eating in the background. And I noticed CJ just said, "Hey Johnny, we're on camera." I looked over at the camera and this is the face I made.
It was
just in the moment.
And then Leaf was in the foreground putting a really weird face slumped on the sofa. And I took a picture because I was watching my TV. Yeah, and I couldn't screenshot, so I took a picture with my phone of my TV screen. But I didn't realise that Leaf was doing that face. I thought, oh, it's Johnny, because I sent it to you as a DM originally. And I was like, oh, this is fun. I need to see Johnny. I'll send him a DM. And I looked as I took it. I was like, I hope this is the best meme template I have ever accidentally made.
Yeah, it is. It's amazing. That's why. It's just because Stumpy actually took that photo. He sent it to me. I thought it was funny, so I was like, I'm making that my Twitter profile picture. It's a funny picture.
Is your real name actually Johnny, or is it like Jonathan or something? From @FishowKid.
It's just John. I'm sorry to say. I mean, it does say. I think my real name is on my Twitter, so you can go there and find it out.
So your surname isn't Boyington.
You're not going to go to my
first
Twitter.
name Jonathan.
It's not Jonathan Boyington.
Jonathan Boy. Yeah.
Oh,
that would be cool, right? Shall I get it changed?
Or
it's Boyington.
According to Gfinity.
How much does it cost to change your name?
I had my name legally changed.
You did?
Yeah, because my mum... the amount of times I've explained this story. My full name, when I was born...
old. It's brilliant.
...was
Let's hear.
Cameron Emil Augustine Cole Abbott. And Cole Abbott was hyphenated, right?
Wow.
I know, it's pathetic. It's awful.
You are posh.
I'm not posh at all. I'm poor as fuck, right?
You sound so posh.
Abbott is my crackhead.
Augustine!
Listen, right, let me justify it. Abbott is my crackhead dad's surname, so that was first on the chopping block, right? Augustine was because my mum was like pregnant and hormonal, and I was born in August, and my mum's weird, so I was like, right, that can go. And then she called me Cameron Emil as opposed to Emil Cameron, just because it's quite an old-fashioned thing to do apparently, and like a lot of our grandparents listening to this will have their first name and their middle name and go by their middle name. So I just dropped it
At what
all.
point in your life do you think, Mum, what have you done here? Come on.
made a
think
mess
it
of this.
Why have you named me?
I think it was one of my first thoughts. Listen, every time I went to a new
your
school,
first thought?
every time I went to a new school, in the register, they'd say, Bob, yes. Timmy, yes. Cameron. And I had to sheepishly put my hand up and say, actually, it's Emil. And everyone would go, Mel? And I go, no, Emil. And they go,
Emily?
why would you... No, Emil. And then they say, why do you want to be called that rather than Cameron? And I'd have to say, no, I wouldn't rather. I just go by my middle name. And they go, oh. And that's my first impression every time I meet someone new. So at age 18, I chopped it all down to Emil Cole. And
Smart.
it costs like 50
Very
quid.
smart.
It's really cheap. So yeah, Jonathan
50
Boyington
quid.
will not cost you.
Give me
Oh,
Jonathan
that's
Boy.
Ington.
Jonathan
Boyington.
Boyington.
Yeah.
Hasty
Wow.
Boyington. Jonathan Boyington.
Can you ever go back, or after you change your name from one name, can you never
I
go
don't
back? Is it
know.
like a one-time thing? Like once you've eaten the pill, you can't like change your name back
There's
to what
There's
they
that
are.
not sure.
comedian, Joe Lycett, who recently there was a lawsuit that Hugo Boss did against a company that like used like the word boss in like some advertising that wasn't even in like France, where the fuck Hugo Boss are from, or Germany, and they tried to sue this little company and put them fully out of business. And so comedian Joe Lycett, who's quite famous in the UK, legally changed his name to Hugo Boss. Just so,
That's so funny.
just to piss off literally Hugo Boss. And they sent him a letter just saying, look, right, we're going to get rid of all the lawsuits against this company. Will
Yeah.
you change your name back to Joe Lycett? And he said, you can do that. I'm not changing. My
Yeah?
name is now legally Hugo Boss.
That's amazing.
It's so
I mean,
good.
there was the opposite happened as one time with didn't Beyonce sue like a company who were named, what's her daughter called? Like-
Key West or something?
Something I can't remember, but yeah, a company had been around like before her daughter was,
Yeah.
but then her daughter was born. She named it something I can't remember, and she tried to sue this company for having the name of her
Oh
daughter
my God.
before her daughter was even born.
So
Tried
she
to
could actually
get
just
them to
change her
change their
daughter's
name.
name because the person doesn't exist yet.
And it's so stupid. Like, why would this matter if the company's got the same name?
I know
Like,
that didn't Beyonce also shut down like a hospital wing while she was giving birth? Like, and
Did
like,
she?
yeah, like
No way.
it meant that then everybody who was in the process of giving birth had to then move to like a different wing.
What?
Yeah,
Are you? I mean, I was about to say, are you even allowed to do that? But then I remember, there's some money,
it's
In
America,
America as
and
well,
she
yeah.
has money.
American money.
Do what you want.
Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy.
The next question is from C55RI. Celtic or Rangers?
Probably neither.
You're a Hearts man, are you?
Now, I was born in a town called Livingston, so I used to support them. But
Oh,
then as I
Livingston,
got
okay.
older, I just stopped following football too much. So I couldn't tell you what their last score was or what their last result was. I don't know. I just started watching esports instead of sports as I got older.
We
I
should do a
guess.
show
See,
I
match
don't watch
between
sports.
Livingston and Celtic.
Please say Celtic, please.
Celtic.
Yeah, Celtic.
I hate you so much.
No, I didn't watch the match. Sorry.
So basically, to any Rangers and Celtic fans listening, he hates you both. So let's all pool our mutual anger and direct it at Jonathan Boyington.
Yeah, legally, Jonathan Boyington.
Josh
Yeah.
Watson of Psyonix recently said they branded RLCS as a threes league and want to stick to that rather than expand it to 1v1. What's your opinion on that? And do you think Psyonix should host an official 1v1 and 2v2 league as well? Or leave that to third parties from @Wobdor. And also, we have a similar question from Vampire Squid RL, who said, would you be interested in working with Psyonix in a way to bring some form of 1v1 tourney to RLCS? So basically, what are your thoughts on RLCS and 1v1 and 2v2?
Well, the second question is a lot easier. That's just a simple yes. I would, of course, be interested and very willing to work with Psyonix, bring some kind of ones tourney to RLCS. So that's a yes, easy. First one, I don't know what the branding has to do with it, so I'm going to skip that because, yeah, I don't see how I mean, I don't see how the branding of RLCS has anything to do with threes, really. Like, when I look at their branding, I don't really see 3v3.
Apart from their
at all.
intro
Yeah,
video.
they've got a
that's
couple
got
of
6 cars.
clips here and there of 3 cars on a pitch, but
Yeah.
I don't see how that's relevant to this discussion. The one thing that is relevant is, you know, they don't want to expand it to include 1v1. And that's, you know, that's something I can understand totally, because they have a working model, and when something's working, when something's going well, you don't need to change it. So I think they're doing just fine. They don't need to expand. Do I think that they should host a 1s and 2s league as well, or leave it to third parties? I think initially they should leave it to third parties, but not because I don't think RLCS could do a good job of it. It's because, like I said, they don't have to. And then they've also got the advantage of seeing what works, seeing what doesn't work in community tournaments and you know, other tournament organizers and third parties. And then they can, if it works really well, if they see something that they think they can include, then they bring it in. But there haven't been any 1v1 LANs at all. There's only been the Universal Open for 2v2. So there's not enough to really go off for Psyonix, in my opinion.
12 Titans then, when you did all those videos, were the games all already played, or were going to be played away from all the promo videos?
For the second one, the reason why there was a LAN element was purely to not have ping problems. That was why we did this. And then we just thought, well, we might as well shoot some cool in-person like intros and
In a Scottish castle.
B-roll, because why not? So most of the time spent in the actual LAN like weekend was recording B-roll, because it takes a long time.
Yeah,
it takes a long time.
Yeah.
And there were only, I think, 7 games needed to be played, so 7 best of ones. That doesn't take very long. So we just did those one of the nights, and the rest was mostly just shooting B-roll. But yeah, the reason for that was just ping reasons, not to have a crowd or anything. We just didn't want to have to play online for a best of one, because which server do you play on?
Yeah,
it's really difficult, and there's always going to be complaints about competitive integrity. It was $10,000 as well, $10,000. So like you gotta, like, if it's $10,000 prize pool, we don't want to have a server like
with a cool
advantage.
trophy.
Yeah,
cool
it was a
butt
wicked
pluggy
trophy.
trophy.
It was well cool. But yeah, they're talking about RLCS 1v1. I mean, I'd love to see it in the future. I think that it would be really, really cool to have RLCS be like not just a weekend, like RLCS LAN, to not just be a weekend thing, but be more like a 2-week like huge show that you could have once a year. And you could have 1v1, 2v2 and 3v3, because I think they're all super fun game modes. Like 1v1 less so to play, but to watch, 1v1 has some things that 3v3 can never have.
It does. They do something similar for the Blast Pro series in CS:GO, where they do like your standard like 5v5 CS:GO tournament, whatever. That's all going on, and then I think it's third place can then pick any team that placed 4th or below to then do a series of 1v1s on a 1v1 map, and it's 5 different sets of guns. You then pick one player to then go up against your person for each gun. So one will be like a sniper, one will be a pistol, one will be like an AK, and you do it on a really cool little map. And that is such a fun, cool little thing. Just to do literally like before the grand finals, we're doing the 1v1s now. And like, imagine a 1v1 on a stage at LAN. The nerves and the atmosphere would be incredible. All directed, where normally it's at 3 players, magnified into a single person.
Imagine
intense.
the chance.
It's intense.
Imagine
the
charting a
chance.
squishy.
Oh my god.
You're shit.
Well, there would be more. There's a lot of advantages to like 1s compared to 3s. Just like there's a lot of advantages for 3s compared to 1s. That's why I don't think 1v1 should ever replace 3s. I think they can both coexist, and they could both be even in the same broadcast, like an RLCS 2-week like massive tournament where you've got all these like 1s, 2s, and 3s happening at the same time. Like imagine having like somebody who's a 1s champion and a 3s champion simultaneously. That's like
awesome.
The storylines are even cooler. But 1s, you have so many goals and you have so much potential for comebacks. And all the people who don't really understand how 1s works and who don't watch a lot of 1s or don't like 1s will just say, well, yeah, it's just kickoff goals. But really, there's just as many kickoff goals in 3s as there are 1s these days. And you know, every play in Rocket League, you can draw it back to the kickoff in pretty much any game until a mistake happens, and then the mistake is the main thing that's influenced the play. But you don't really have to look much further than 1v1 on that 1v1 series that I've casted. There's a reason people think that like I actually script series. It's because 1v1 looks like the 1v1 series that have happened on my stream and on my YouTube channel are so good that people don't believe it's true. They think this has to be scripted. There's no way that what just happened, what I just saw, can be real. That's how good it is. That's why people think that I'm scripting RCS and stuff. It's because of 1v1. 1v1 is just a crazy game mode to watch. Like incredible spectator, esport potential. The numbers are there on YouTube, and even on Twitch as well. Like there is an interest in it. So I think it would be really silly not to explore through a third party. In my opinion, would be the best way for Silence to do it. Just run a big ones LAN.
What about 2v2s? Because I've always been very interested in 2v2 leagues. I really enjoyed the Universal Open when that was on. 2v2 is my preferred game mode to play. A lot of pros, instead of playing threes ranked, at least on stream anyway, they will almost all do 2v2.
3 scrim, 2's ranked.
Yeah. Do you think that there's a good place for a 2v2 league to come in as well? Or do you sort of see it as it does stuff that 3s
100%.
does, 1s does, and maybe it doesn't fit everything properly?
Oh, no. What 2s is also insane potential. I mean, I think they all do. Like, I remember many 3 series that I've, had goosebumps, been on the edge of my seat, just had a great time watching. And I know this is amazing content for the community and for the esport. But I can say the same thing about 1s and 2s. And 2s is up there.
Yeah.
If you don't know what a good 2 series looks like, because it's been a while since the
like 2
Universal
years,
Open.
Yeah, it's been ages.
Yeah, it's been a long time, and 2s has come a long way since then. But yeah, don't look at ranked matches as like a good example of what like actual fun 2s looks like. Just watch the KSA boys, Ahmed and Khalid, playing 2s. I've hosted a few series of Saudi Arabia versus various European teams, and yeah, your mind will be blown. The reason the SRG and the Middle East hype train was rolling was not just because of Khaled's 1v1 performances. It was also because of Khaled and Ahmed in 2v2. That's why Senzo coming in and also playing really well was really cool to see, because it wasn't just the guys who'd already proven themselves. But yeah, if you want to see good 2v2 and like why 2v2 can be an insanely exciting tournament mode as well, just go watch Khaled and Ahmed playing against other nationalities in 2v2.
Our next question is from @Georgie_Serato. Hi guys, back with smiley face. Love you all. Love heart. My question, : what is the one most important factor that would make Rocket League a tier 1 esport?
That's the one most. I'm only allowed to pick
Just
one. That's
one.
really difficult.
You've used all your time with that last answer. We've got to go quick fire from now.
Yeah.
What the one factor, the one most important thing? I think you've got to make league play LAN, and playoffs have to be LAN as well. Like online is perfect right now for coronavirus lockdown and everything. Yeah. But that should always be, I think, a backup plan. Like moving everything to a LAN, having like a European like LAN and Oceanic and South American or North American LAN like for league play and playoffs, I think is necessary. That's the biggest like thing for Rocket League to move forward to be tier 1.
Cool.
When will you evolve into your final form of Johnny Man? From Mr. Evilpants 666. His pants are so evil.
Name.
God, they're evil.
I don't know. Are you allowed to rebrand like this? Do people do this?
One day, when you're old, mate, when you go grey.
Isn't like...
Then you don't want to, but then I'll be clinging on to whatever remnants of youth I still have.
N_N. It still looks like a face as well.
It does, yeah, because it wouldn't be Johnny
I see.
Man
Right,
N.
I
It would
see
be
what you're
Man
saying.
_N.
Yeah, exactly.
They're the bags under your eyes. And, I'm so bloody tired of shitty Rocket League.
Yeah.
Man.
So far, so good. I mean, it's actually just over 4 years since the first Stro match I casted. It was 4 years.
Can you remember the first game?
27th of March or something was the first one. Marky Duda versus Scrubkiller.
Oh, who won?
That's pretty good. That's a good start.
Scrubkiller won it. But it was actually an upset back then. Marky was the top player.
Yeah.
So Scrub winning was, in fact, not expected for once in ones back then. That was like right as Scrub took over and became the dominant force in Rocket League ones. But yeah, 4 years and I'm still not bored. So all good for now.
So we still have a while till you become Johnny Man.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
good stuff. from @thatbigtuna. Why the fuck do Scottish people deep fry Mars bars?
Scottish people make a lot of very questionable health decisions, that being one of them. Have you guys ever tried a deep fried Mars bar?
Yes. Yeah, delicious.
I think so, yeah. Yes,
Deep
I
fried
have.
pizza?
No.
No? Okay, deep fried pizza is definitely a must. But make sure you eat it while it's still, like, hot. Because when it gets cold, yeah.
If it doesn't burn your tongue, it's too cold.
Well, when it gets cold, you start to, like,
Congeals.
wonder why you would ever eat this. 'Cause
Yeah.
it just, yeah, you know, congealed.
Imagine your mouth
fat,
then
you're
gets like
"Oh."
covered in like the layer of like fat as well, like instead
Yeah.
of being all
Like fat.
liquidy. Oh.
Yeah, deep fried pizza is like a heart attack in a box, but it's Mars bar is the same probably.
At uni, we tried to deep fry as many different chocolate bars as possible to see if the Mars bar was the best decision.
Right.
And firstly, we made an error because we didn't freeze the chocolate bars, which apparently you're meant to do. So then they
Yeah,
keep
you are,
their
yeah.
structural integrity.
Mhm.
Clever.
And also, halfway through, we had a saucepan full of batter because we didn't have a mixing bowl. And somebody came in, knocked the handle, and went all over the floor. But we didn't have any
no.
more flour, so we scraped it back into the bowl and still used it.
Oh,
And while you were busy doing that, you forgot to keep an eye on the deep fat fryer that you had going. You ended up burning down the whole street. It was hilarious.
It was a
What
good time
day.
though. But we did figure out that it was a tie between a Snickers and a Mars bar because they both
so they've
have, they're
at least
very
they've got the
similar
right one.
bars. They're very
I only
similar.
ever had one deep fried Mars bar, and I was
Yeah.
pleasantly surprised because I thought it sounded pretty disgusting. But I thought, okay, it's kind of just like a crunchy melted Mars bar.
Yeah.
There isn't so much of a taste of like salt or batter or anything. It's just a Mars bar.
It's about
flavor,
what
but
you'd
it's crunchy.
think, to be honest.
My girlfriend was hilarious. She was there, and she's very like she eats a lot of healthy food,
Yeah.
and she's got a much better diet than me. And she had a bite of it,
Did she like it?
then just chewed it for a bit, and then she said, "This is wrong." She said, "This is wrong," and then had another bite. I was like, but you
good.
ate another one. You had it again.
If
So it
anybody's
wasn't that
interested
bad.
as well, the worst bar is, can you guys guess the worst chocolate bar to deep fry?
Aero.
Bounty.
Batter. We didn't try Aero because that would have been big. I reckon that would have been
Freddo.
pretty bad.
Bounty.
Curly whirly.
Bounty, I don't like Bounties, but it did fine. It did
Yeah.
okay in the test.
Okay.
Yeah.
Crunchy.
Ooh, good
Ding,
shout.
ding, ding.
Yeah,
it's a
that'd be like
crunchy.
molten.
The middle
It's a crunchy.
just melts.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's just sugar.
Yeah.
It just
Yeah,
melts.
yeah,
And then
yeah.
it like forms into a really hard like brick of honeycomb, which you think would
Yeah.
be nice, but you eat it at the start and it's sort of like chewy, and then it just sticks your teeth together because it solidifies in your mouth.
Yeah.
Wouldn't
I
recommend
was
deep
thinking this
frying
isn't
a
gonna work.
crunchy.
To this day, everybody who tried one can still not open their mouths.
It's crazy.
Hey guys, how you doing?
It's a weird experiment. Johnny, thank you very much for joining us
baby.
on the SubPar Poddy C. I hope we see you on future RLCS events and the spring series, because Jesus Christ, it's so nice seeing some EU representation.
Yeah, that's just like the one thing for me that's been really cool about the current situation worldwide. So although I really do hope this is over and back to normal as soon as possible, it's been nice to be part of the RLCS. Thank you guys for having me on today. And
That's
again,
okay.
Thank you to RLCS for allowing me to be there. I'm just everybody's inviting me onto things now, which is great.
I would say for anybody who wants to see more of Johnny Boy out in the world, make sure you comment on Twitter. Do you know what I mean? Like a Twitter comment basically saying, "Oh, I love seeing @JohnnyBoy doing this," or "We want to see Johnny Boy again," is so useful to brands and to companies that are looking and thinking, "Who do we get involved?"
True.
So if you do want to see more of Johnny, make sure that you make those feelings known. And I think the best way is through Twitter.
I hope we get more, remote casters involved.
Yes.
With, I think the current situation is like showing that you can do that. It's very feasible. In fact, maybe in the future we'll just have like I've got a second headset. We could just have Shogun over. We'll both be here.
that'd
Obviously,
be
that can't happen
lovely.
right now with
Like
everybody
Corelli
on
and
lockdown,
Turtle
but-
did.
Exactly. Like they live so close together that they were just in the same place.
Yeah.
But obviously now with everybody staying at home, that's not happening. But yeah, we could do that in the UK. UK is quite small. We could just get people
Exactly.
over to one place.
That'd be so
and
sweet.
A remote
remotely
broadcast from the
Yeah.
UK.
there would be no delay as well because we'd be in the same room. So
Oh, the dream.
it's I think really feasible, and hopefully we'll see more of that.
Hopefully. Thank you, Johnny. And we'll speak to you soon. Otherwise, everybody who is listening right now, thank you for listening. If you did want to, because we forgot to say this before
Yeah, to be on
on
our
last
patrons
episode,
today.
but Yeah, if you guys would like to support the podcast, it is all of our patrons at patreon.com/subpar, but in HD. We've had a few more pledges, so thank you guys for being ever so generous for helping us out. And Cole, what do we say to our beautiful, wonderful patrons?
Fuck you, you prick.
Fuck
dickhead,
you, patrons.
pricks,
Yeah, exactly.
wankers,
And also,
scum.
yeah, anybody who wants to have some fantastic,
Dirt.
quite frankly, fantastic merch as well, cop some merch, go to shop.subpar.gg and use the code Poddy C, all one word, on the item page. It's on the bottom right corner of the item page, and you get 10% off anything on that store.
And while we're at it, our YouTube is probably objectively the best one. So, like, sub to it.
Very true, yeah. Fuck
Like,
Johnny.
objectively
Unsub
speaking.
to Johnny, and then
Yes.
sub to
Yes.
us. I think it's
Yeah.
the plan.
On Twitch as well.
Actually, you guys are pretty close to 100,000 now.
Oh, mate, we've been saying that for about 4 months. I don't know what else we could do. We're putting out such good content, Johnny boy. No one fucking watches
just a couple more videos and you'll get there. Just keep on going.
We're at
Alright, mate.
Keep on putting out
99.8.
videos.
It's ridiculous.
We're close. But thank you guys. Sub to our YouTube. Do all the things. And we will see you in episode, whatever the next one is. Cheers, all.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.